Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ortho.i Podcast. My name is Dr. Adriano Araujo. I'm here in Dallas, Texas. Today, I will tell you a story that really changed the way I starting to see technology and orthodontics and education. So, I don't remember. Like a few years ago, I was invited to give a lecture for the for the Spanish Society at that time. But on the same day, believe it or not, and the same time, I had also a lecture to give in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So I needed to be in two different places, and I needed to be in two different countries. I needed to speak two different languages in the same time. Okay, so it was a funny coincidence. And I remember one of the other doctors was on the scientific board, and she said, "Hey, Dr. A, you need to clone yourself so you can be like in two different places in the same time." It was a joke, but that got it in my mind, it's a good challenge. That's the way I like to move on in R2I. So yes, I will clone myself one day, so I will be able to be in different places in the same time, and actually even speaking different languages. Believe it or not, we are not far from that. Not 100%, but today you're gonna see in this podcast that I clone my voice. Okay, so we have an AI voice clone, and not only you're gonna see that it's the first level of quality, okay, of technology. It's like the first time you use like the internet it was really weird, slow, and everything else, and today it's amazing, fast video, audio, and everything. So we are in the beginning of AI, generative AI, but it's amazing. It's amazing how good it is. And we have some user cases. Later on, you keep listening this podcast and you're gonna see that I'm speaking Japanese, I can speak in Italian, French. I just put 5 different languages there, and with my own voice, AI voice. On the end, actually, in that lectures, I gave both. I record one of them, or I don't remember, but I didn't cancel one or another. We had already like a remote webinars or something, so I was able to do one of them I was physically, and another one I was remotely. So, but I was able literally to give the two of them using technology, right? So I'm saying about 5 years ago, we were able to give the lectures, give the training, or whatever I supposed to do. But was a problem that could be solved today using AI. So keep in mind that AI come to help us orthodontists or whatever industry you are, doctor, what field you are, to do something that humans are not able to do, right? For example, I thought I was a good speaker, a public speaker, because I can give a lecture in 3 different languages, Spanish, Portuguese, and English, and it was already huge. But humans, there is a limit. I can get 5, 6, 10 languages. But just to give a short idea, my first AI model that was made in 2020 speaks already 33 languages that time, and today with those large language models, easily you can speak more than 100 languages. So when come with natural language processing, and the evolution was huge. Okay, so this is an example today. This podcast I'm going to share is how we can use text to speech. So we create a script in English, and then you can translate with large language models, and you use another AI voice model that can transcript from the text for the audio, and from the audio you can add in different integrating different apps or softwares for training. So this is just a simulation that I have done. That was the beginning of Ortho.i Robotics. Remember, keep in mind that before you have like the humanoid robots, you need actually to have the brain. You have the brain, what the brain can do, they can test message, I would say, like work with words. So generative AI, it's very good to do those kind of stuff. Okay. And now we are giving example of audio. And then the next thing to do is make the AI model to see that we use computer vision and they can see very well. So we are getting very close to that's what I was dreaming to have the orthodontics robot. And so today you're going to see that the robot has my own voice. Seems to be scary a little bit, right? Because when you clone your voice or something, the first thing comes a lot of people mind is the negative way, right? We are training to think negative, not positive. Or the same way that they're starting to make the first payments online, for example. Oh, they're gonna whatever use your clone credit card and you're gonna be in trouble, and actually happen a few times. But that can be controlled. So it's the same way there is great regulation, and it's pretty safe actually. I think everybody use credit cards numbers and making online payments and everything. So the same way when come to AI voices, seeing that is something like, oh my God, will be super different or whatever. Or maybe you need to use your own voice. I'm just using my own voice. For example, if you want to actually be very objective, this is another thing that humans are not, and I am not, by the way. This podcast that I was thinking that I say I'm going to talk about 5 minutes and has been 7 minutes and 33 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So we talk more that I suppose to. It's okay. That's the way humans are. But sometimes we need more efficiency, so you need to stick with the 5 minutes, for example, or we stick without bias. That is another thing. How many times I train like hundreds and hundreds of KOLs, different companies, different languages, and there is a lot of bias. Even myself was one of them, so that is the beauty, the thing that AI can do it. Long story short, here's our podcast, and I hope you guys enjoying. We are raising the bar again, just showing how we can use generative AI. And remember, is to make things that humans cannot do very well. Like I said, speak more than 100 languages. We can't do it. You can even create artificial languages, like I create Angela. If you haven't seen, we have like the speech-to-speech AI technology was my past episode. So Angela, it's an AI voice. Okay? So amazing, have fun, and I hope to see you guys. And I look forward to see what you are doing actually with your organization, your association, your practice, and using generative AI. I would love to partnership and work together with you guys. Amen. Have a good day.
Today's podcast episode showcases AI text-to-speech technology featuring Dr. A's AI clone voice. The accompanying article, titled When Giving Comes Full Circle, based on a true story, is already published and available on our website at www.ortho.i. Enjoy it. L'épisode de podcast d'aujourd'hui met en avant la technologie de synthèse vocale basée sur l'intelligence artificielle avec la voix clonée de Dr. A. L'article associé, intitulé « Quand le don revient en cercle », inspiré d'une histoire vraie, est déjà publié et disponible sur notre site web www.ortho.i. Bonne écoute. L'episodio del podcast di oggi mette in mostra la tecnologia di sintesi vocale basata sull'intelligenza artificiale, con la voce clonata del dottor A. L'articolo correlato, intitolato Quando il dono torna in cerchio, basato su una storia vera, è già pubblicato e disponibile sul nostro sito web www.ortho.i. Buon ascolto. 今日のポッドキャストエピソードでは、ドクターの AI クロ N ボイスを使用した AI 音声合成技術を紹介しています。関連する記事、与えることがグリグルって戻るとき、清和に基づくは、すでに当社のウェブサイト部.ortho.i で公開されています。ぜひお楽しみください。El artículo relacionado, titulado Cuando dar cierra el círculo, basado en una historia real, ya está publicado y disponible en nuestro sitio web www.ortho.i. Disfrútalo. Sometimes, life has a way of showing us the magic of giving when we least expect it. It was another busy day at my orthodontics practice in Brazil. Between caring for patients and managing the business, I was also immersed in organizing a charity event. The goal was to bring together several medical practices to offer complementary medical and dental services to underserved communities. But beyond providing care, the mission was to host regular events throughout the year, targeting specific organizations or local communities in need, offering them whatever support they required. To share the costs and make these efforts sustainable, the expenses were divided among the participating businesses, proving the truth of the saying, "Team, together, everyone achieves more." One of my favorite activities, even today, is going to the movie theater with my kids. It's not just about the entertainment, it's a wonderful way to teach life lessons through the stories we watch. A quick conversation afterward, sparked by the movie's themes, can open the door to meaningful discussions, especially with teenagers who rarely seem to have free time for their parents. Inspired by this for the next event, I decided to take all the children from the largest local orphanage to a private movie screening at Cinemark. This wasn't a simple undertaking. First, we needed to secure legal authorization from a judge to take the children out for a special day. Then, we arranged to book an entire auditorium exclusively for the event. The logistics included transportation, popcorn, drinks, candy, and goodie bags for every child. By the end of the day, I was making final calls, coordinating with volunteers, and settling the bills. I personally wired our contribution that afternoon, covering the total cost of XYZ dollars. As I sat in my office near the clinical room, the phone rang. It was my office coordinator calling to update me on the next day's patient schedule. We ended the call, and I was about to leave back home when the phone rang again. This time, she mentioned something she'd forgotten earlier. A patient, who had been behind on their payments for some time, had just made a payment deposit. Then she told me the amount, XYZ dollars. I froze. Chills ran through my body as the realization hit me. Only hours earlier, I had donated the exact same amount to make the charity event possible. Sensing my silence, she asked, "Dr. A, are you okay?" "Yes," I replied. "I'm okay, thank you." In that moment, I was incredulous, flooded with emotions, happiness, and even a hint of fear. But most of all, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. It was as if God Himself had whispered, "Whatever you give, I will return to you." It was a divine reassurance that I was on the right path. The event was a success. We all had an incredible time, and for several of the children, it was their very first experience in a movie theater. The joy on their faces was unforgettable, not just for them, but for me as well. This story is one of many similar moments I've experienced, and I've heard countless others share their own ways of giving and unexpected blessings. These occurrences aren't coincidences. They happen every day, every minute, to those who open their hearts and give freely. Whether it's your skills, your wealth, your time, or your love, the act of giving has a way of creating ripples that come back to you in the most unexpected and miraculous ways. Our orthodontic practice is far more than just clear aligners, brackets, wires, and AI softwares. It's the place where magic happens, a place where we spend most of our time, where we help people,
and where we find fulfillment. It's not just about transforming smiles within our business circle, but also about using our knowledge to impact lives beyond it.